Hey, this is Chris from Rekkid Talk with another episode of You Need That Record? Yes, the series where I tell you what music you should be listening to because I'm very presumptuous that way. Really, this is more what kind of music I should be checking out and listening to. So today we're going to do some Vital Me Please hip hop, although this is actually in the Essentials track. Kid Cudi, Man on the Mood, the end of day from 2009. And so this may be the most recent hip hop album in my collection. As I've mentioned occasionally, and so it's kind of hard to tell that it's not just plain black, but it's kind of this smoky, purplish vinyl to it. And so, as I've talked about before, I have a pretty small, sort of carefully curated, pretty tight hip hop collection. Not tending to buy, give blind buys, or have a lot of stuff. Maybe an occasional blind buy for a single, but for the albums. And most of the stuff I know is probably from the mid 80s through the early 90s. When I was a teen and in my early 20s, the so called golden age of rap, and when gangster rap came in and that sort of stuff. My favorites usually being groups like Public Enemy and Wu-Tang Clan. But I got this kid Cudi, and I'm going to tell you that I really like it. So I know he's kind of the sad rap, emo rap guy. At least early in his career, he was associated with Kanye West, who's somebody I don't really think very highly of and don't plan on adding to my collection. Although I know there's been a falling out, and apparently recently the Kanye West douchebag fans were like throwing stuff at Kid Cudi when he was on stage. And I think if you're like pissing off Kanye West, you're probably doing it right. One of the things that I tend to like in music is sort of introspective, angsty lyrics. And that's not something that I really associated with, at least the kind of hip hop I'm listening to, that I was listening to in the past, was not really noted for that. But this is. And so I read up a few things online about it. So apparently Pitchfork didn't like this. Pitchfork gave this album a 4.1 out of 10. Not a 4 out of 10, a 4.1 out of 10. I would like the reviewer to give me a description of the quantitative difference between a 4 out of 10 album and a 4.1 out of 10 album. Somebody did a track by track review of Reddit, and they certainly liked it a lot better. And so you've got some pretty trippy stuff. You've got his sort of sad boy sort of lyrics, but it's still catchy. In My Dreams leads off. My Life. And it's sort of a concept album. It's split into 5 acts, which is spread over 4 discs on this, so it's a little bit confusing because it's not like an act is necessarily a side. And so, Solo Dolo Nightmare, the Reddit person says, warning, very introspective song coming up, might make you emo. Solo Dolo, Heart of a Lion, and Day and Night was sort of one of his hit songs from here. And probably my favorite song is Intergalactic Love Connection Part 1. Now, the Reddit person said they used to always want to skip this because I think they didn't like that when they were sort of a edgelordy sort of teenager making a love connection with somebody while on shrooms. So, Intergalactic is pretty cool, and you've got some other good stuff along the way as well. Pursuit of Happiness, Up and Away, sort of your closer, a bit of a wake and bake song. So I really enjoyed Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon, 2009. I know that's 13 years ago, but for me, it feels like modern hip hop. And I'm going to try to stick with a pretty tight pretty carefully curated hip hop collection. But if I ever find some other ones that I think are pretty cool, I'll talk about them as well. And those of you that know more about the genre than me, maybe you could drop me some suggestions. I know a lot of you are old white guys like me, and you know little to nothing about it. You may even know less than I do, which is basically like not knowing what 2 plus 2 is. So there you go, Kid Cudi, the man on the moon.